Hello everyone, and welcome to what is a bit of an unexpected video I thought I would make and stream because I'm doing this live. T1 unexpectedly lost to KT Rolster today in a shock series. Now, I didn't watch the games, but I know the results. This is a very significant result, so I thought what I would do is, for both my sake and for yours as well, I thought I'd go over these games and with a eye for tough love, figuring out what's going wrong, being blunt about what we think are mistakes, but also learning from what we think the players are doing as well. Figure out, in this case, what is going wrong with T1. No disrespect to KT Rolster, of course. I'm definitely going to be learning about what they're doing well here as well. But realistically, I know a lot of people out there are going to be very interested in what is going wrong with T1, because obviously it didn't go very well for them in the LCK Cup. And T1, we thought, well, you know, a couple of months off after looking so good in the LCK Cup before it reached playoffs, surely they should have recovered by now. Clearly not the case. So what is going wrong with our reigning world champions, and why haven't they managed to find their grip again at this point? Let's get straight into the draft. If you're on YouTube, these will be individual games, but I will do the entire series, just the 2 games as well. Expect these to be about hour-long videos. Let's get right into it, and let's talk about this draft for game 1.
We haven't seen any gameplay.
Okay, let me speed up the draft, and let's see what's happening in the picks and bans.
Eggs or the chicken's eggs. You know, all that sort of stuff.
Sure. I mean, we're in draft here, you know, eggs haven't even appeared yet.
No, this is the first one. The Varus is going to be banned away here. Amy not going to be playing that one. I love how
Okay, so Varus banned out, Vi. I'm going to stop it when I think I see a trend in the bans. All of these are fairly standard right now. Maybe the Vi, the one thing which is stand out. And then we'll see what's left over. Because we still have a lot of big mid laners right up is what I'm noticing. Neither the Orianna's not banned. The Azir is banned there. I assume the Orianna will answer.
I'm a little bit worried that they're going to first pick Karma.
Worth noting, a lot of junglers are getting through the bans right now. That's very important, because if you have a very powerful early jungler, you can have very powerful early game plans. And it's the Karma that's banned. Okay, now this is worth talking about already. Let's talk about some of this already. Let me also see what's happening. I've lost my pen already. That's a great start, Alex. Where did I put my pen? Where is it? Where is my epic pen? Great start, Alex. Oh gosh. Where is it? You there? There we are. Cool. Ah, nice. Yep, because I like having a pen to look at things. So this is the thing which it is a powerful ban. Definitely. Both of these are very lane dominant bot laners, as is the Varus as well. Understandable there. But the big thing which is missing right now, and that was the last ban, so this is the first pick here, is the Orianna. Orianna, very powerful mid laner. Are there things which you can counter that with? Well, typically you just trade something like the Orianna and the Azir. Typically that would be a trade. But that's not the case here. So they chose to ban out the Karma instead of that. So what we might see now is Orianna first pick for T1. And then what KT might do is to say, well, we're actually going to let you have that, and we're going to start picking a very powerful bot lane. Now, you still would need to pick a mid laner in your first 3, I'd imagine, because especially if you didn't pick a mid laner in either one of these 3 picks here, you're probably going to get some extra mid lane bans thrown at you, and then your mid lane is going to go very badly. Of course, there is BDD. BDD does have a very large champion pool, and he's very effective in lane. He's one of the best laning mid laners in the entire world. Now, for instance, what happens if you locked in Ashe Seraphine, right here, or something just lane dominance, especially with the Varus Karma gone. Maybe T1 lose bot lane, but I do wonder what would happen. I do wonder what would happen in the mid lane matchup to do that. So that's my current theory. Let's get through the first picks though, and let's see if that fits our understanding of this draft so far. Orianna, I think that has to be the first pick, because I don't think there's anything which can really easily deal with it in mid lane. Oh, sorry, Ryze is up as well. Okay, that's a bit of a miss from me. Yeah, okay, Ryze, and then you can go Ryze Pantheon for double global. You know what, I missed that. That's a fair point. Ryze is another powerful champion. That makes complete sense. My bad. Orianna's still a very good first pick for lane dominance. But then if you lock something like the Ryze Pantheon, not much beats Pantheon early. You're probably looking at a Jarvan here for Owner. Jarvan, Orianna, pretty good versus Ryze. But Ryze is really, really tanky. So if you go for a burst combo like the J4 Orianna, it doesn't necessarily deal with that. And the same kind of thing, if Pantheon gets his E up in time, the combo doesn't really work. Wait, Nymera missing the same pick as the T1 coaching staff? That's very funny, but that's also rude. No. Very funny, very funny. You got me. So you have double globals here as well. So T1 needs to be very afraid of giving up too many playmaking opportunities and playing around sidelines. So now, what KT really want now, what they really want is they want a top lane that's really volatile. Because if they start pushing in towards mid lane and start flying up towards top lane with your Pantheon and your Ryze, or whatever side lane it is, things go very badly wrong. So you don't want to be picking squishy champions top lane. I would advise against something like a Gnar, although the Gnar can outplay as well. That would be something I'd be quite worried about for T1. They do go for the Jarvan, you still need that combo. And they go towards the Ezreal. Ezreal very lane dominant, and at this point, because you only have one pick left, and there are bans coming after, you can't go Ashe Seraphine because the other half of that duo will be banned in the second phase. So it's both mid laners locked in, mid jungles locked in, and we're looking at bot laners here. Is there anything which particularly deals with this with the Ezreal? You don't necessarily want to go Sivir. The Sivir has a spell shit. Okay, Sivir's okay because Sivir does well against Ezreal on lane, but doesn't love being stuck in the Cataclysm. Can just wave clear on cooldown for forever. Could go Corki. Corki would be fine, I suppose. Hang on. That's really not helpful. It's really not helpful. My mum was just calling me then. Thank you, WhatsApp audio. I'm so sorry there. Family call at just the wrong time. Whereas KT want a really volatile top lane matchup. They really want that. And they, hang on, did that even come through Dasgold? I think I did. Okay. So the Jace is now really good here. The Jace is good in one form, in the sense that it is a volatile top lane matchup with the Ryze and the Pantheon flying up towards that top lane. It's bad if the game stalls out and then suddenly you get dunked on by a Jarvan and Orianna. At that point, your game becomes pretty unplayable. They don't lock in an AD carry. Okay, so now we're going to skip through these next bans. They ban away the Lulu for something like a Yunara, which would have been very powerful. Actually, Yunara would have been very good there. And the Yunara Lulu is a very strong tier. In fact, should they still ban the Yunara? No, they banned the Nami to stop the Corki Nami. Or something like that. Whereas on the other side, Yorick is an important ban because Yorick survives in side lanes really nastily. He can actually survive 1v3s. You're probably looking at something like Renekton now for Doran, but he isn't happy about it. Could go Cassante Sion, but do you lose too much with that then at that point?
I think Nautilus is really good anti-dive, so if you want to win a smashing, crushing bottom lane and look for Pantheon dives, then the Nautilus can be a problem. And I suppose we know that is in fact what the plan is now, with the Ashe picked away here.
Yeah, kind of an interesting window to go for the Ashe Seraphine, as of course Carry can pick it away, but Seraphine Ezreal...
And then the Ashe is locked in. So neither the Ashe nor the Seraphine were banned on 4 and 5. So the Ashe Seraphine is available. Do you have a lane to take away from the Seraphine? Could you go Ezreal Seraphine? I mean, we have occasionally seen it. It's both pokey, you know. Thank you, Duo, so much for the sub, by the way. I appreciate you. And they do go towards the Anivia support. So this is the BLG on champion that we've seen quite a lot. And the Ambessa is locked in topside. Ambessa's fine. It has a competitive matchup versus the Jace and can survive on weak side fairly well. Plus, it's another ball carrier for the Orianna. I don't think that's bad. You could have gone for, like, I suppose you could have gone Sion, Ornn, Cassante, but I think the Jace just runs them through in lane. I think, especially if Pantheon ever gets a successful gank, it goes crazy. As pointed out in chat as well by Atmo as well, that was actually another point I was just about to get onto as well. When BLG had played the Anivia support before, it's not necessarily for the damage, although they did get Rod of Ages Anivia support the first time, which was really funny and actually did do significant damage. But they played it with the Yorick. So they actually went Yorick and Nivea, and that's one of the other reasons why this was banned, which I don't know why I didn't mention that at the time. Because if you put down the Dark Procession from this bloke, and then you put down the Crystallized from the Anivia, you have 2 bits of terrain, which are really, really good versus people who can't get out of terrain themselves with this. Now, you do have the Jarvan, which is another bit of terrain. Anyway, similarly, actually, the Yorick Jarvan is really nasty, because if you get dunked on by the Jarvan, the Yorick throws his Dark Procession down after, and as the Cataclysm ends, there's another bit of terrain, and you're stuck there for even longer. You're still expecting the Seraphine to come through from effort, but I think the Yorick is very wise ban.
He's been paying attention.
is a very wise ban, given that. And it also allows you to play something a little bit more immobile there as well. I know I'm stopping and starting the draft quite a lot right now, but hopefully it'll help you understand some of the thought process, which both I'm going through and what I assume the players are going through as well. So what do we end up with in terms of the draft? Let's let them switch into their real roles, which they have done, and let's have a talk about the draft. Now, Ezreal and Nivea, it does have a very strong level 1, level 2. I don't think it's stronger than Ashe Seraphine. And I have a real worry that you still have stuff like Orianna, which then has to be very, very afraid of Ashe Arrow, Rise Rune Prison into Ashe Arrow, and then the Pantheon going global as well. The Ambassador can go unstoppable through the first bit of CC with their own ultimate, and they're very mobile. They're more safe on a side lane. But if this game becomes about side lane picks, with people running out of Fog of War, looking for pick CC from the Pantheon, the Ashe, and the Rise, I think T1 are going to be in a lot of trouble. It's not like they don't have tools to play around it. They do. They, like I said, they've got the Jarvan Orianna, which is very nasty too. But if it becomes about those split picks, I think T1 are going to start feeling a lot of pain very quickly. They have no frontline. Especially if you have something like the Jace following up with a Shock Blast after as well. Someone is dying. On the other side, you know, I look at the Jarvan Orianna, and typically that's very, very good in the 5v5, as with the Anivia as well. Hey, Sam, what's up? Thank you. How's it going? Everyone say hi to Sam.
Hello, chat.
But T1 are playing a very fragile composition. KT do have a lot of pick CC. If it comes to a straight-up 5v5, you know, this combo from topside will delete someone. I think even the Rise at that point kind of gets blasted. So that's my take on it. T1, they need to avoid the pick CC. They need very good advance warning of when the plays are happening. They need to be very aware of where the Rise and the Pantheon are. They need to be very aware of who's on strong side and weak side at the same time. If they can start fights on their terms and attack the source of the global, like the Rise and the Pantheon, that's often a very good thing for them too. There is a worry that if they do that, then the Jace just gets a lot of free value. Anyway, you're seeing a lot of these things here. It's a playable but risky draft from T1. If they do survive through to the 5v5s, I think they will have a good shot at this. Okay, let's get into the game and let's talk about gameplay, not just draft.
Can I get you a cup, Ralph?
I have a coffee
You're
already.
fantastic.
Also, yeah, I'm sorry. You'll have to apologize to Mum, who did try and call me in the middle of the stream. She didn't message ahead, so it was a bit. I forgot that my calls also go to my laptop, so it went on stream. I was like, okay, let's not have the ringtone on there. So I'm so sorry for the jump scare for anyone. You just got a random call on that, or of course the YouTube video later as well. Let's get into it. Cool.
See how it goes. We jump on the roof. Game number 1.
Right, let's just have a look where my... doesn't KT outscale also? Really depends on the theatre of war that they're playing in, really. If it's split picks, then I think that... and by the way, we will be watching... oh, hang on, I've got to put my camera in a different place because it's a different overlay from first then, so I'm going to move it slightly in from there, and hopefully that will be fine. So if... oh, I'll hide it behind my camera for now. If it becomes about split picks, I think that KT win. If it becomes about 5v5s, I think T1 win. There is a worry, and this is another thing which I've not touched on just yet, really, is that if it does become about Ezreal and Nivea outside of lane without a lane advantage, I don't really know what this brings to the team. Not a huge amount. Okay, so let's watch very quickly what's happening at the level 1, because the level 1 is competitive, but as you can see, a double up Seraphine is really nasty. You do go Electrocute. Electrocute E-Star is not uncommon for the Anivia. However, when we saw On play this, and I'm going to stop this again, when we saw On play this, it was into Renata. Renata level 1 does not have that much damage. You have either a handshake or the E. It's very different from the Seraphine, who has the doubled up Q or E, which is really, really quite high damage right from the off. So that's a difference here. It's not played against the Renata. Pei's actually body blocking an Ezreal Q there. I actually wonder if he meant to do that. I presume not, because the wave dies anyway. Carrier and Pei's do actually get the wave shoved in, and they do end up getting a second good trade onto effort, some decent auto attacks down there. They've managed to compete with the bot lane. Remember, they did try this with They did try this with, gosh, Zerayumi, right? Last split. And they did... Kerry did die in lane to that one, actually. He didn't end up playing that game very well, actually, comparative to what we expect of him. Like, he made a couple of unforced errors. Although later on... Okay, no, I say that. That's very harsh there, right? That's very harsh. But I think he made a couple of mistakes, is what I said. And I don't think the lane counter worked in the way that they wanted it to. What's happening on the rest of the map? So, important things to note. We have Jarvan pathing top to bot. And we have Pantheon pathing bot to top. They are trusting the fact that the Ashe Seraphine will just survive, and they're actually leveraging towards the flippy top lane matchup. Thank you so much for the gift subs, Orky. You're very, very kind. I appreciate you. On goes Spellbook on Anivia. No, when he played against the Renata, he went for the Electrocute level 1. The second time he played it, I think he went Spellbook. But he did go for the Electrocute the first time playing the champion as well. Anyway, so KT are pathing with their jungle to help... to help the to help the top lane volatile matchup get ahead. This is something which BLG did quite a lot at first stand, and something which you know, a number of teams are starting to take inspiration from. T1 are also a team which has played, you know, topside centric at times in the past. They're a very versatile team though, so it's not a given which lane they'll play around. Ona's going towards bot. He doesn't really have a big angle there. The wave's crashing into them anyway. He doesn't want to go into the Ashe Seraphine, get hit by one of them, and then get rooted and then blasted. End of the day... Oh, hang on. I'm just going to have to zoom back real quick, because I do just want to see what level 1 vision was achieved by either team in the jungle. So that you can see, this is really important, because I was focusing on the laning, right? But this meta is a lot about early jungle vision and early jungle pathing. You see T1, they have their own Raptors have been warded, and they have one defensive ward. They don't have a ward on the enemy side to spot the jungle start. That informs why Ona plays the way that he does right here. Sorry, just before this, when he goes here. Because he knows that there's a potential that Cuz is around. He's not certain where he is, rather, so he doesn't want to full send it, and things go a bit awry. I hope you're enjoying the April Fool's Day Comic Sans chat, by the way, if you're in Twitch right now. Obviously, if you're on YouTube, you're missing out on the festivities there. Oh yeah, let's speed it back up again. Nothing happens from Ona. Bot lane is even. Top lane has a 10 CS lead, which is nasty. Ona gets his first clear off. Perfect! Does level... Was that a cookie, or was that... No, he levels up, so he's fine there. Waves crashing in. It'll be it will be just under a 10 CS lead, I think, or just about that. Doran is really trying to hold the wave. Credit to him, he does hold it. And that's really important, because Doran can't afford to lose that much. He gets the whole wave there. Wait, did he... And he holds the wave. And he decides not to do anything with it. Just hits the wave anyway. So nothing crazy is happening right now. Also worth noting as well, T1 got some really good vision control down on the bot side of the jungle. We're going to go quickly recap how they did that. So Ona just watched the bot minimap. Walks in, puts a ward in Tribrush, gets the Scuttle Crab. Faker gets a controlled order on the bot side of Midbush, and then he gets one onto Raptors as well. This is really important because this kind of thing, you know, stops the Pantheon looking for a flash gank and getting something ahead. And it gives you good information of where Cuz will be on the map, just because you know where he's not. Whether he's if he doesn't show on bot lane, on bot side jungle, then you know where he's likely top side, right? Or going through a lane. Anything important happening right elsewhere? I think your chat is normal. Well, okay. My Twitch chat is currently all in Comic Sans. Perfect teleports back towards top lane. As he said, he actually has... Oh, hang on. Oh my god, hang on. I was not looking at the minimap there. So, Doran is just trying to hold the wave. He's even-ish in CS. So what the heck happens here? Oh, okay, so... Ona is trying to path around vision around the Scuttle Crab, right? So he knows that this is gone. So he tries to path around here so we can get a knock-up onto the Jace. Did they spot Pantheon on bot side? That would inform this as well. Yeah, they very much did. He's on the pink ward and he spotted him take Raptors before. So they absolutely know he's on bot side. So Ona takes his own Raptors. This will open up a chance for Cuz to either gank bot lane or take enemy bot side camps. So Owner's trying to go towards the flippy matchup. I think this is, on the whole, a good thing. Shock Blast on target, Grasp on target. Well, that's a damage calculation. Okay. So, obviously he's trying to set up to the gank. Does he think he's going to get level 6 off the wave? He would have got level 6 off the... No, he wouldn't have. No, I'm wrong. Because he only gets the level 6 off the kill. Okay. If Doran doesn't go in at that point, does Perfect just run out? The ward in tops... He doesn't have a ward in topside river. He's got it in topside Tribrush. He spots him now. Well, he tries to flash the Q damage. He tries to flash the Jace Q damage. I don't know if Doran lives anyway. Perfect might have to flash to follow up kill. Perfect's been trading really well. Doran's tanked a lot of shock blasts. Obviously, that's not great. I think the worry is from Doran is if he doesn't go in at this point right now, Perfect walks out because he can flash the Jarvan EQ. And Doran doesn't have level 6. But Perfect maybe even... Well, he's actually got he's got a Dirk and he's got the... Oh no, looks like he kills him there. What the heck's happening top lane? Wait. So Owner doesn't even get the kill into Perfect. I'm trying to see what happens on the minimap there. I guess we'll see a replay anyway. Okay, so we'll follow up on that in just a second. He lives for sure if he flashes the Q damage. I don't know. I think if he flashes the Q damage, it's a 1-for-1. Because I think Perfect might flash for a kill. Or I guess he might just flash out. He has W for shield. Do we see his cooldowns? Pretty long cooldowns, obviously, for Ambassador early ranks. I would have assumed he... he does have his Q. No, he does have his W. He does have his W. Yeah, you can actually see his W's coming up. Oh, no. Hang on. We're going to have to, like, go super slow-mo on this, right? Because watching the bot... So I want you to keep your eye on the cooldowns right here. Watch your eyes... Watch the cooldowns right here. And we'll slow this right the way down. Slows right the way down. Doran goes forwards, 2-1. It is half a second off here. And as you can see, he is dead before the W comes off cooldown. It is 0.1 second off. That is heartbreak for Doran. I think if he manages to get W, he maybe lives. I think what he's obviously trying to do is flash out of the Jace Q damage and then W. I think at that point, Doran thinks he's safe. It is a minute miscalculation on the W cooldown. I think he probably did just go a little too early, but you can see it is just on cooldown as he dies, which is just heartbreaking for him.
Meanwhile, here towards the bottom side of the map, Aiming could be in a bit of trouble as T1 looking to press forward, effort controlling the battlefield really nicely though, and the volley tags both of them beat.
And then competitive 2v2, does Carrier lose egg? Oh, he does. I don't think he dies, but he loses egg. Pays would potentially kill effort if he walks up for it.
Yeah, they're just trying to clear this wave before he respawns here, get this cannon and get out. Aiming.
There's a nice stun, Aiming.
Carrier, buddy, you gotta be careful there. Damage of Ashe Seraphine is just so nuts. They're using the and now there's the wait, Cuz could have actually potentially flashed for a Q there. Wait, actually, hang on, sorry, did he even look for that? Did he have one over the wall? No, he used the empowered Q onto the Gromp. 30 minutes into stream, 5 minutes into game, Chimera Classic. Hey, early game and draft is like a huge amount of what you have to review. I'm sorry. It's a huge amount of what you gotta review. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Oh, gosh. That is a heartbreak of Doran, though. Okay, let's speed it back up again. Let's speed it back up again. No, I know you're teasing. I just want to point out that there's a lot to be pointed out here. And then Perfect is in melee form. And he gets the E to back him away. Hey, Cloudjumper, how's it going? We are reviewing this series, and we're going to go try to see what's going wrong for T1. And also what's going right for KT. So what's gone right and wrong so far for either side? Well, Doran had that minor miscalculation, but I actually think it's okay. Well, look, it was okay. Obviously, Perfect was trading very well onto the Ambassador. Bot lane of Pays and Carrier, they're doing fine. Didn't know my favorite caster analyzes LCK. Happy to see. I do occasionally. I used to do it more. I will try and do it a little bit more for you guys so I can keep up with LCK more. I've got Mondays and Tuesdays off of LPL this split because they're not playing games on those days, which gives me a bit more time to do this. Okay, not gonna lie, I think you just run Sion here over the Embesser into Jace. I think that the Embesser is better if you survive. Obviously, it's not working that well. Okay, so some stuff's happening now. It's the first Rise ult of the game. That's what's happening. So as we said in draft, if KT can look for split picks... Oh, there's also an Ashe ult as well. There's a lot online right now. Actually, with that in mind, I think this is a very risky play by Faker. I'm not going to say it's like, quote-unquote, wrong. He has Flash. But what happens if... Well, there's a lot of point-and-click CC heading in. So right here, it's the Realm Warp into the Rune Prison. Oh, he cancels the Pantheon W. That's good. That's a really important moment. Does it save his life? He's going to flash over the wall, maybe? Cuz has Flash still. Aiming has Flash. Hits him. Does Cuz even need to flash over the wall? Faker doesn't really have damage here. It's not bad from Faker, but yeah. Okay. So how does this start? How does this start? So Rise is resetting. Faker is like, well, Rise is resetting. I'll have this wave to do something. Okay, hang on. So he's, so he is. I'm actually not sure how to show this on. How do I? Hang on. Let me very quickly do this. Do this. Work? Oh, that's not gonna work. Okay. Right. That's not gonna work either. Okay. Basically, just look at. I'm trying to show the minimap. Faker stays to kill a pink ward because he knows with Pantheon ult and Rise ult and Ashe ult, KT are in a great position to start playmaking. Unfortunately, the play gets made onto him. What he's trying to do is make sure that, and again, something that we highlighted from draft, that there is enough advanced vision, and they're fighting for vision control far up enough that they have some advanced warning of where the global is coming from. Because if you have that advanced warning, then you can fight back. It's pretty hard to do that, to defend against that when you don't know where the play is coming from. The problem from Faker here is that I don't think he's quite respectful enough of the back timing from the Rise, where he thinks, okay, he'll take like another couple of seconds to come in, because he does have Ghost and he does have Realm Warp. You can see that Faker actually does run them around for a pretty long time here. It does take BDD using that flash, using the Ghost and the ult. So what happens with bot lane at the same time? Bot lane gets pushed in on that wave at the same time. I do wonder whether this sort of situation changes. Well, they lost the level 6 battle. And that probably came from early... Well, it's actually literally one minion off from Pays. But he has Cleanse. Even just the base stats. Basically, what I'm just running through in my head now is... Could T1's bot lane have roamed up first? Were they hoping that, you know, these two... I just realized I have to put the arrows the other way around. Were they hoping that their bot lane would have more prio of the Ashe Seraphine? That is potentially something that they were banking on, but obviously it's not working out right there. So it might have been a miscommunication between Faker and his bot lane about whether bot lane could move first. Obviously they couldn't. Aiming gets to walk up and kind of take a play for free. And they do give it to the Ashe. Right.
Still looking good. Not really sure there was a net positive to that flash for Faker in all of this. Obviously here, gets Realm Warped on, has to buy time. And
does Faker just have to save the flash? I mean, it buys a lot of time for bot lane. I think losing flash there is very important, actually.
Flash being down now. Accept your death. He buys time. And after this,
And while that's happening, Jarvan's farming, Jace is just getting vision topside, so nothing's happening elsewhere on the map. So T1 aren't in position to make a play anywhere else either.
after this, maybe just accept your death.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Wolf on the cast here. I don't think Faker should flash for that. I think it's very likely that he's dead. They still have a Pantheon ult. They still have an Ashe ult. You buy another global, and maybe the thought is I want to buy another global so we're safer for the next few minutes in the game. But I think it is more important to save your flash. Oh my god, hang on, whoa. Yeah, this is the game. Yeah, it's versus SKT Pumandu, what the heck? That was an Ezreal support who was versus. Just look at this thing at the bottom of the screen. First support on Nivea since 2013, when it was Mata who played it while he was still an MVP. Jeez, man.
We've got Effort, Carrier, Pumandu mentioned, and Mata.
This is Telecom War pre-round robin LCK. Like, this is just Carrier giving everyone a Telecom War history lesson.
Yeah, that's kind of nutty. There's Mata on your screen right now, as it is score versus Mata, right? Like in the building. There is a lot of crossover. It's just kind of absurd. And right now,
So now the problem is, Faker doesn't have flash, and he is a prime target to jump with the next Pantheon ult.
it's kind of like a blood moon, you know? Like it's just where all the
You can see that Pantheon is kind of like trying to stay as close to River or as up on the map as possible so he can reactive ult into a play as well.
You're having a good time, I'm having a good time because
Ona does have his level 6. Should they be looking for a play onto Jace? Presumably, but also Ona... here's a problem, and I'm gonna talk about this really quick too. Look at the CS differential in jungle. It's not much. But when you're behind in farm, if you make... Oh, flash there. I had to flash there. That's another target. They can target with the global now. But when you're behind in farm in jungle, you start feeling really bad about making plays. Because if you then lose... If you don't make a good play after that point, you fall so far behind that it becomes a real pain. That's a good combo there by Carry and Pace. I got to speed up a little bit. I don't want to drag on the gameplay too much, but that is a good thing to get rid of the flash onto Effort. Flashless Seraphine means that Jarvan can dunk them. But yeah, one of the reasons why Ona is just not immediately sprinting top to try and... Oh, there's the Pantheon ult. Oh my god. They're trying to... Okay, sorry. I'm getting sidetracked on too many things here, but basically what I was trying to say is... gosh, what was I trying to say in the last bit? Yeah, if you got no flashes versus Jarvan ult, obviously that's a big thing. But when if you're behind in the jungle, you don't want to make too many plays, because if you end up losing out on those plays, you fall so far behind, then you're just not a champion anymore. Okay, so then what's happening here is T1 is still trying to get vision on bot side, and they have like a shallow line in bot side, but it's not... You can see it here, it's here, right? But it's not far enough to... Because Pantheon can ult into bot lane anywhere from here. And they don't have vision on that. Carrier's back in base. The wave is... Well, it's quite high up, right? It's an even wave. You could look to Q farm, I suppose. Jarvan's not in range of bot lane too. You can see... Look, you can see why Faker and crew were trying to fight so hard for bot side vision. They obviously failed with that, and now that means that, well, Paze is just completely dunked. It's another kill to aiming, and this is where things start to fall apart. Because at this point, because there are so many globals which KT can throw at you, you can kind of end up kind of chain dying as KT kind of split up their combos, and they just kind of keep throwing them at you. So I think T1... They've not been coordinated enough about fighting for vision control to protect them against the incoming globals. They've obviously had the right thought process to fight for it, they've just not gone together, or found the right time to go together. And then Paze there was just too far up. And then this leads to the dragon. There's still a Realm Warp, there's still an Ashe Arrow. And another thing which is happening as well, because we were just talking about, well, you know, if you're behind in jungle, you don't want to make plays, particularly if they take a long time and you start falling behind even more. He's managed to catch up a little bit in farm, but he's not been able to influence top lane at all. The earlier mistake from Doran has just completely snowballed out of control. Faker can't move up towards top lane, he can't walk up into River, or he couldn't with the flash down anyway, nor is Orianna the best roaming mid. And because Jarvan's kind of been, you know, on catch-up duty, because Cuz got ahead with... because Ona tried that first gank topside, which is important context here. Pantheon managed to get a little bit ahead from bot side camps, and now that's meant that Ona's been on catch-up and can't go for another gank topside. As soon as that top play failed, it meant that Ona's playing catch-up, and Perfect has kind of got him. He's won himself his isolated lane. Jace is always very good when no one can enter his lane.
And the finesse that's required here for T1 to play this composition hasn't been shown in the laning phase just yet, but we know T1 outside lanes with that.
Yep, again, this is something that we called out from draft. Wolf is calling it out on the cast as well there, saying that there's a lot of finesse needed. Nothing's going to happen there. And you can see that T1, you know, while the instincts are right, the finesse isn't there on how they're executing, particularly vision control to give them that advanced warning right now. And then the earlier play in top lane, of course, was pretty disastrous.
Yeah, I mean, playing to the bottom side of the map when there's a Mbessa hitting your, or sorry, a Jace hitting your inner turret, and then Mbessa just kind of crying. I think maybe playing through that.
Sylv, I don't think the bot lanes are that much of a problem. I think that Pays and Kerry have contested Prio with aiming and effort, which against an Ashe Seraphine is quite... I mean, that part of the game is fine. Very loud dogs outside. I mean, the problem I have now is what is the Ezreal and Anivia going to bring to a game beyond this point? Because they're not nearly as good in a 5v5 as the Ashe Seraphine. The Ezreal is pretty mobile, and it was technically a takeaway as well, making sure that the enemy team also can't get an Ezreal into the Jarvan and kind of fly out of the combo.
I'm just trying to hold my tongue here because I will discuss this to death, and I have already. And I don't think anyone wants to hear it anymore. I don't think anyone wants to hear it for the first time.
I know it's no big deal, but most Anivia supports IC, Rush Bandlepipes, or Trailblazer in my games. Why does Carrier go Roa? I'm actually not that clued up on Anivia itemization. On in his first game also went for Roa as well, and then he went Pro to Belt in the second game. Roa is actually a very good item if you can only pick one item to have the money for. Oh, they go for the... Hang on. So T1 are trying to force a group now, because they know they're losing in the split plays. They're trying to force a group. You've got heal barrier on bot lane. Combo comes through, but it's a very quick E from Cuz. Nothing lands onto him. They dunk him, and it's just a flash for flash. So it's 3 ults for 2. And while all this is happening, side lanes for KT are working, and Cuz even retains enough HP to dunk down the Herald and stay around mid lane. Oh, okay, good Anivia wall there to stop the tower push. T1 still have draft problems? I think this is a risky but playable draft is the way that I'd play it. And T1 have made drafts like this work before. Like, this draft is not one I have a huge issue with. I think the second draft, from what I remember, I had a few more comments on and how I thought that was a problem. Ooh, that was actually a little spooky. And now because T1 failed that play, look at what's happened here again, right? If T1 had made that play, they would have been able to push out, go into both sides of the enemy jungle, and put down a couple of defensive wards, the things which they've been fighting for the whole game. Because they lost instead, their vision line has once again been pushed back to defensive around their Raptors. They've got a little bit on bot side, and in fact, there's something, they've just ulted on bot side as well, so I'm assuming Fake's in a lot of trouble here. But they just don't have the vision to make this kind of play. KT have well and truly won the vision war. And once the vision war starts to be lost, you can see that T1 don't have many safe places to go on the map. Someone is getting jumped on. Just so happened it was Faker again there. You know, Faker did make what I assume to be either a miscommunication or just a misjudgment, a mistake really, around taking the control ward in bot jungle rather than waiting for backup to go take it a little while ago. We highlighted that before. KT have done a very, very good job of keeping out their vision control. BDD, oh, that's just a nasty bush bait. Doubles up on the side lanes. So he pushes in a wave, he backs. Chase, oh, he doesn't back, he hides in the side lane there. This is really nice from BDD. This is really nice from him. Because you look at the top wave, right? That's going to take a little while to push in towards top lane. So it's not like he needs to be at top lane ASAP. Mid lane's accounted for, so that's fine. And I think that BDD is playing on the mind games a little bit here. Because T1 see the fact that the two big globals from mid jungle are down. So they think, awesome, this is the time for us to make a play. Or rather, it's time for us to play aggressively in lane. We want to push up, we want to be getting vision, we want to be making sure that while these ults are down, we're making something happen. So BDD chooses not to go into a 1-3-1, but instead says, well, I don't need global to be in the lane, I'll just try and play a mind game. Fakes out the back, and he goes bot lane and doubles up with Perfect. This is something... Look, doubling up side lanes was the thing that Scout used to do quite a lot on LNG in 2023, and then on JDG in 2024. He's always been very good at side lane kind of macro like that. So I tend to attribute a lot of side lane macro stuff too, but BDD doing a really good fake out there. Nothing happens to top lane turret, really. Not enough, anyway. There are objective bounties now for T1. They're down 5k. Okay. And then, hang on, what the hell? So BDD then obviously just recalls, runs back top lane now. You can't break through the Ash Seraphine. You don't have enough damage to, really. And now the ults are coming back up from KT. So T1 needs to be really afraid. They do have flashes available on bot side, but not top side. It's a bit of an overpush from BDD, but he is a Rise with upgraded boots and rower. Doesn't have flashed. He dies here, presumably. There's a teleport coming in from Jace. Pantheon's here. They split the team. Oh dear. Oh dear. Globals are through. Oh dear. Oh, that's just nasty. Yeah. It's just when the globals start to come up, T1 find it very... Oh my god, it's on Baron Spawn as well. And Faker's on the other side of the map. That is an absolute macro slam dunk from KT. Is there anything else T1 could have done here? They're trying to shut down the Rise before he can get anywhere. He's off vision. Pantheon and Seraphine are already going tops. They're looking for something quick. Gets phase rush, so he can't get immediately dunked. Did Ono not have his EQ? Ult misses. Does it matter? I don't think it does. I don't think it matters at all. Carrier's not fast. He doesn't even have tier 2 boots. Yeah. This is the problem when you're against... When you start losing the map against a team which is has so many tools to just react to you. I don't know, I low-key hate drafts like this. You give enemies all the priority picks and have 3 losing lanes. So that's the bit I'd disagree on, Karam. Orianna is more than fine into Rise in a lane, and the Ezreal Onivia is also competitive in bot lane too. He tries to go for the steal. That's actually a little bit flimsy of KT to do. You shouldn't give him a steal opportunity there. Ah, that's a mess. But yeah, you should actually be competitive in 2 out of 3 lanes. And then you have a really strong combo if you survive the early game too and you fight over vision well to not get kind of butchered by the globals, which is not the case. This game has been a tale of vision control, folks. You know, both teams have known clearly that vision control, spotting where the next global will be shown will determine the game. And I think that KT have been more coordinated at fighting for them. Really. Should T1 have banned one of the Ashe or Seraphine on 4-5 instead of the Nami? Dora makes it out. Sorry, I was deep in thought. This game is very much over now, folks. You're 8k down against a team with a bunch of abilities to force fights against you. You haven't gotten any dragons either. This has been a very good game from KT to try and to fight over vision control, continually make plays. They're making plays pretty much every time their globals are off cooldown. Once again, they have them off cooldown again right now, besides the Ashe ult. So turret ends up going down, and yeah, this is actually besides that turret, a perfect game right now, which is absurdly good. Rise is too tanky. Ambassador wasn't on the right side of the map. They pull the trigger, and that's kind of it. Very, very good game from KT. T1, I think that I can understand their plan. I'm going to borrow a phrase from Wolf in the cast. The finesse was not there to pull it off. The finesse was not there from T1 to pull that composition off in this game. I think that when it came to playing around vision control, when it came to predicting where the next play would come in, I think that was a mistake. You know what I'm going to do? Normally I don't do this. Now let's go back to the draft after watching this game, and let's try and watch it in order. Was there something that we would change in hindsight now? Because one of the things that was brought up in chat was, well, you know, was it just losing lanes or something like that? I don't think it should have been from the draft itself. It's the last pick of that Seraphine there. Look, I mean, the Rise for Orianna trade is fine. It's fine, I suppose. Or I suppose you could have first... Yeah, I think that's okay. This duo here is fine. I think it is a very astute decision of Katie to immediately say you're getting a flippy top lane matchup into you. Was there another pick that they could have done? Not sure. The Ezreal gets locked in here as a takeaway from champions that can jump out of Cataclysm. Because, I mean... Yeah. I mean, there's still Yunara, right? Still Yunara. If you're going to go anything bot lane, well, you don't have your other lane dominant bot laners, and you need to fight in lane. The Jarvan, yeah. I wonder whether T1 should have had a more advanced level 1. The level 1 was a little bit pedestrian, as in, like, there wasn't a grand plan, and they didn't spot where Cuz was going, which led to some big things. Anyway, folks, I don't think I would change... I don't think this game came down to draft from T1. I think it came down to the way that they fought around Vision, and I think that KT were better at that and pulled the trigger very, very well. That's game 1. I'm going to leave that there on YouTube. I'm going to go on a quick ad break, so everyone else just hang tight for a little bit. We'll stick to that, and I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Let's get to game 2 after.